Good morning, everybody, or hello, wherever you are. It's Richard Biddle here. We jump straight into this match as I face a 2-cube. This is a match with Airat Fatikov in the semi-finals of the main in Riccione. We're in the first game. The cube came after a few moves, and already I'm on the back foot. That's a good 3-1 for me. It means I can make the rack and hit him at the same time. He dances. Now I've got the choice here between making the bar point or coming out. I go for making my own bar point. He dances again. I then make the 5-point prime and I'm able to get one of my back checkers moving. Now, I should be thinking about doubling here. I am thinking about it, but I know that Airat likes to take the cube late. He's a risky taker. So this is a double, but I'm choosing to hold off for a minute to give myself a better position, because I know he's going to take this very late in the day. And I roll the double 2 here, so I just sort of play out, knowing that I can turn to the cube at any stage. But I know that when I cube him, he likes to take late. He likes to take cubes that are passes. So that's why I've held off using the cube. He manages to hit me. And spreads his checkers around the outfield. Again, I should be cubing, but I'm choosing to hold off because I know that he will take late. I'm also aware that he is developing a prime in front of me, but he is stuck back on my 2 points. So there's still plenty of play left in this game. I could have cubed him. I haven't, or recube, I should say. And now I throw the cube across. This is a pass, but he snatches it up. So all my reasons for not cubing before are valid. He has taken a very late cube. It was a massive pass, but he has taken it. So we're going to play on from this position. I'm happy. I've got the cube on 4. Gammons are not insignificant for me. And certainly in the race of the primes, I'm in better shape. I've got 5s that escape, and there you go. There's an escaping 5. He manages to point on me, but I'm not too worried. He's stuck behind a 5-point prime. He's away from the edge of my prime, and he may well crunch first before I do. Comes up with a 1, in with a 5. I'm still in fairly good shape. Okay, I didn't really want to come on there. I'd rather have just danced a bit while he crunched. Now, the reason why I don't hit him on my 2-point is that I want him to keep on playing, so I don't want him dancing, because if he's dancing, that means his 5-point home board remains intact. That's a great roll for him, double 1s. He'll come up to my 3-point, make a point on my 3-point, and now he's got that escape valve, and suddenly the game is very much more leveled than it was previously. The 2-3 here, I choose to make my 2-point. I would have been better off just coming in safe and not giving him that freak 6-3. Okay, he rolls a 6-4, which means he can escape one of his checkers. I now come out with a 6, and I'll continue going all the way to reduce the number of shots he's got to hit me. And in fact, what I absolutely should have done here, I overlooked that. I should have been hitting him in my home board. So I'll now get punished for that. Well, I would have been hit anyway, but he's hit me. I managed to come in very luckily, and I can now remove that checker out of harm's way. And he correctly hits me on the 1 point. And now I'm hoping that he's going to crunch his board before he can escape that back checker. And meanwhile, I'm quite happy not coming on because it means my board remains intact. And there he is, beginning to disassemble his board. And he's given me the 5s to escape now. And yeah, rather than giving him a freak double 1. And now the alarm bells are ringing because he's came up to my 2 point. And thankfully I do the right thing and hit him away. And this is a curious double 3s he plays here. He should just be clearing off the all the checkers off the 6 point. But he and this means, of course, that I might pick up another checker if he can't come out. So this is my blunder of the day, blunder of the match. I'm so preoccupied with trying to pick up a second checker and how to play, because I'm going to come in on the 4 because that gives me the most shots at him if he has to break that 6 point. And I'm thinking about how to play in the outfield. I totally overlooked the fact that I should be hitting him in my home board. I should be playing 8 to 3 and hitting him, knocking him back up. And that is a massive, massive blunder so early on in the game. And it's worth a lot because the cube is on 4. But that's why I stayed back. I've got my shot at his second checker. I'm not going to hit that one. I want to hit the one outside. That's right. And then I'll bring the 6 in to hopefully give me a chance to point on that. But he rolls a good 2-1, which is a strong gammon saving roll because it makes it very difficult for me to win the gammon from here. But what I'm doing is I'm hoping he'll roll the 6 and come out. There it is. There's the 6. So I've got shots of, I can hit him with a 4, I'll hit him loose with a 2, and there you go, there's the double 1s, so I can hit him. I can either hit him in the outfield or hit him inside like I've done that, both are correct. And now he's going to dance, and I'm going to try and pick up, now because I want to pick up that second checker, the move I make, it's actually very weak here because I'm wedded to my 5 point prime, but actually I shouldn't be. I should be quite happy to break that prime and give myself and stay back. It wins me so many more gammons. Okay, he dances. That's the 4 I would have needed to have hit him to pick up that second checker. So I've done myself a disservice. You know, I could have, instead of going for the 4 points, I could have been going for the 6 points. Now, very few gammons to win here. He keeps on dancing. I've just now got to bear in. I've really got to. I've missed the chance to make that 3 point. And the cube isn't, the race isn't a million miles away, especially after that double five. And after that double five, thankfully I roll the double twos, so it's just a straight bear off race. He's got a lot of wastage, but a lot of working doubles. I've got a few awkward gaps. And there's one of his working doubles. Again, I hit the gap. So he could be off in 3 rolls. I could be off in 4 rolls. But there's one of my working doubles, and that closes off the game. So I take an early 4-0 lead in this 13-point match. It's the semi-finals of the Riccione tournament in February. Some of you may have seen one of the earlier round matches I played against Michel Moriarty earlier. Now, it's a funny opponent, this guy. There's always a bit of silly stuff going on. Having insisted we play with a baffle box to begin with, now he doesn't want to play with the baffle box. He's always complaining about the dice, whether they're real or not. There's just a lot of funny stuff. A lot of players don't like playing him. I certainly don't enjoy playing him. Now off he's gone somewhere. He's got no qualms about getting up and going off in the middle of the game without saying anything. Here he goes, he comes back. Had to put on his, looks like a Scottish hat, which is odd because he's Russian. And then he plays an odd 3-1 there, which really should have hit me with. Not hit me with, he should have made his 5-point, but no complaints from me. I've got no problems if he's going to make some funny moves. 5-4, great, gives me an opportunity to anchor up. This game's probably being played at too fast a pace. One of us needs to slow down, or certainly I need to slow down. I'm getting sucked into the pace that he likes to play at, and that's when blunders are made. I come in and hit, keeping the momentum going for myself. And we get into a blot hitting contest. To which I respond with another shot. Right, now for a sort of a cleaning up move. Enough of the hitting, he's anchored up. So we're playing a mutual holding game, both with a couple of spare blots to clean up. And I'm ahead in the race here. Before the move, I'm ahead by 14 pips. And this is why I'm tempted to play the racing play. The racing play being 20-15, 18-15, making a more forward anchor. And he's underpowered in his home board. And that's why I'm seduced into doing this, but in fact the wrong play, and I should have made a home board point. Generally it's a good thing to make a home board point, and I don't. And he hits me now and goes on the attack because he's so far behind in the race. I continue hitting him, and so he's going to end up playing some sort of a double anchor holding game, and so I bring that one down. It's out of direct reach of those checkers on my 4-point, and he continues with that strategy of just trying to flood my home board with blots and points, which is going to make it quite awkward for me to come in against. But I don't want him making my 5 points, so I think about it, but really the move here is to hit on the 5 point. There you go. And keep this sort of this blot hitting contest going, this battle for the 5 points. Bang, he hits me back off the 5 point, and now he makes his 1 point, which is a good roll, a good play for him. And now we've time to sort of tidy up the mess. I've got now obviously concerns about that checker on my 11 points, so I'll play the 3 up there. And I'm not too worried about his home board at the moment. He's underpowered. He's only got 7 checkers in there, so that he can't do too much damage. And he chooses chooses to make my 5 point and just slot the bar point. Okay, I can do 2 good things. I can hit him off my 4 point, and I can make my 4 point. So generally in backgammon, it's good if you can do 2 good things at once. There's 3 and 1, so he's now prepped himself for a 5-1 holding game. And really now it's time just for me to anchor up and make any home board building for him awkward by making his 4 point. For the type of game he's playing, probably this is too big a roll for him. It's going to affect his timing. But he begins to make his 3 points and spreads builders around the board. That spare checker on my bar point, my 5 point, is going to be awkward because he's he can hit me quite happily off it. There you go. Now, having said it's generally good to make a home board point, there it wasn't with a 6-4. I should have played out from the back. This is as I said, we're playing this very fast, and it's not giving me much chance to commentate about the moves. Hopefully, we'll slow down as the match goes on. It's still early though. 13-9. Okay, he doesn't mind being hit, but he should have really played off the 8 point rather than break his midpoint. I hit with 5s and 1s. I can't do anything there, but I can make a 4 point prime in front of his forward anchor. It means I leave a shot, but I've got his 4 point, and it just slows him down a little. Now here he's got a choice of making his bar point or hitting me. He should have hit me. He should have hit me because he doesn't have a strong game like this. And now I can come out with a 6-2 and really make him focus attention on trying to hit me. Well, he does that fairly well with a double 3. And XG doesn't like the slot here. Prefers playing safe and bringing both checkers 8 to 5. I dance. So if he can escape that checker, well, he can't. But he can make a 5 point board, which is great. If he's in a position where he can escape that spare checker off my 5 points, he's suddenly in quite a strong position. I'm dancing again. I really hope he rolls 4 or less, and that way, well, that helps. But it does mean, okay, he stacks all his checkers correctly up onto the 4 points, so he can just escape with any of those. And I'm in an awkward position unless I roll a 6 soon. So he floods my outfield with those 2 spare checkers, and it's looking a little treacherous for me now. But I come in with a 1, that really helps, and I hit. That's fantastic. Okay, so that's I can breathe a sigh of relief there. Comes in with a 1, can't hit any of my checkers, thinks about the banana split. And actually the banana split would have been right marginally, but this move isn't too bad. The cube is available if I want it, but I choose not to use it. Possibly because I still sniff gammons. And okay, so he still hasn't crunched his board, which is a little awkward for me. So ideally I'd like to roll a 6 to get me out of there. So that's a relief. I've got myself out. He rolls a crushing double 4, so it's taken a while, but I finally got him to crunch his board. And now I'm doing a quick count to make sure, see how far I am ahead. I'm actually only 20 pips ahead, but he's stuck behind my 4-point prime. But the thing to realise here is, and it's taken me a while to figure this out, and sort of today was a sort of an epiphany for me when I looked at this position, is that when your opponent has a stack on one of your 5 points, and I guess a stack would be 3 or 4 or more checkers, invariably you're too good unless you've got some bad rolls, and I don't have any bad rolls here. My worst roll is double 2, so really I should have played on, but I'm happy to take the point. And now my opponent has gone, without any warning, gone AWOL. He's gone for a break without asking me, telling me, and he goes off. And it's going to Italy and playing all the Italians is a joyous occasion for me. They're all so much fun to play with. Anybody who saw my match with Michel Muratori last night or yesterday would have seen, you know, what a gentleman he was, what a great guy he is to play. I'm afraid playing with this guy is not a joyous occasion. He's charmless, total disregard for his opponent, quite happy to leave you waiting at the board when the match is supposed to start. Okay, there is a language issue. He doesn't speak English very well, but his whole demeanour is just not much fun. I don't enjoy playing him at all. This is now the 2nd time I've had to play him. But he's left me hanging in the lurch. We were 2 games into a match. Having kept me waiting before the start of the match to play, he's now insisted on having a break. Well, insisted, he's just walked away from the board. So, not enjoying it. I'm enjoying the scoreline, but certainly not enjoying the playing with this gentleman. The break will be about I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes. He'll be back in due course. But anyway, so the score is now 5-0, having passed the cube correctly because it was too good. We're 5-0 up. It's the semi-final of the Riccione tournament. Okay, now what's happened here? Okay, so they've edited out the break, and we're at 2-1 in the next. We're a few moves into the next game. Right, I'm on the bar and I've got a 3-1 to play. Okay, so we've had a jump in the play. This is the next game. 3-1, I come in and hit. And again, we're in as seems to happen a lot in our matches, a good old blot hitting contest. And again, I hit, and this time, instead of anchoring up, I make the 5 point correctly, because it's good to have the rack, but he comes in and is able to hit me now. But I've got a stronger home board. I'm quite happy to get into a block hitting scenario. Come in with a 5. I'll certainly hit with another of the 5s. And although this is the right play, coming down from the midpoint, and I'll come down eventually with the other one as well, I don't like it because I'm splitting my armies. Generally not good practice in backgammon, but it was the best play. It was the only thing that was available to me. He's continuing the blitz. This is a very good play by him to attack me, because what he's looking to do is put more than put 3 or 4 checkers into my board, so he can play some sort of a back game. I come in, I can't hit, and I want to keep that checker on his 5 point because that's the point I'd quite like to make. So I come out with this one instead, which is the correct play, but actually coming either or would have been okay. With a 2-1, so I'm going to spread my builders here. So I'm going to play 6-4, and then I've got a 1 to play, and XG actually prefers the splitting play of 24-23. I don't like it because it's I don't want 4 blots around the board. He's got a 3-point home board, so I choose not to do it. XG punishes me for that, calling it a blunder. But he's hit me twice there, and with 2 on the bar, I wouldn't have wanted to have another 2 blots available around the board. So rightly or wrongly, I feel justified in my play. But it's a good roll for me. I come in with both, hitting with 1, and he's going to dance here. And we have a little bit of fireworks here. I don't know if this is going to be recorded. Let's see, 4-3. So I knock him off my ace point correctly here because I don't want him anchoring on there. He dances. And now I'm going to pick up both checkers. But I've made a mistake here and I've made a misplay, an illegal play, because I hit both checkers, but I didn't move the full 2-1. But he's insisting that I play the illegal play, which of course we can't do. We play legal moves only. So, and contrast this with the gesture by Michel Moratori, which I had yesterday, where Michel understood what I was trying to do and said absolutely make the right play. The play I actually made here, and of course because he moves my checkers, I don't even know whether I've made an illegal play, but he doesn't give me a chance to see it because he moves the checkers in a flash of light, without you seeing what he's done. So we've had to call the tournament director over. I've asked him to put the dice back. He shouldn't be picking up the dice if he doesn't condone the move, which is another thing. And what eventually happens is that they end up watching this back on the video, and they insist that I make the legal play. So, which is putting both on the bar and moving them both on. But so often with this player, in fact, another way of putting it, he was having a dispute with another player, and I spoke to one of the Italians. I said, is there an issue? And he says, yeah, the issue is the player. So often when this guy is playing, he's having a fight or an argument with one of the other players over something. His manner certainly doesn't help things. If your opponent makes an illegal play, don't touch the checkers, don't touch the dice, stop the clock and point it out. Don't start moving their checkers around, and this is what he's doing. It's compounded all the more by the fact that he doesn't speak English very well. and his whole manner is aggressive, intimidating. I mean, it's rattled me. And you see, I don't play well after this. Here's some Italian players are trying to explain to him that we play legal moves only. Now we're going through the he did this, he did that. But the key thing is, if you find your opponent has made an illegal play, which I had done, don't touch the dice, don't touch the checkers, stop the clock and point out the illegal play. Don't start moving their checkers very quickly because they can't see what you're doing. Certainly don't pick up the dice, because if you pick up the dice, suddenly you give yourself no argument. So here's Alfonso. You'll see the tournament director explain to him that we play legal moves only, and he can't just allow me to move the 2. I have to move the 1 as well. But he won't have it. I don't enjoy playing this guy. And I would say in the last few tournaments that I've been in at the Italian events, probably 70–80% of the disputes in the tournament room haven't involved this player. It's not just me having disputes with him, he's having disputes with other players. So he's certainly not representative of what Italian backgammon is like. What he's actually arguing over amounts to very, very little equity. But he's unsettling me. I'm afraid to say I'm not happy with what's going on. It goes on to affect my game, and actually sitting down against him to play him, already my hackles are up because I know something will happen, something will kick off, and it's just no fun. Okay, so he's been told, the tournament director, we play legal moves only. He's still fighting it. But you'll see from this moment on, even though I'm in a very commanding position, I have been rattled. I've been put on tilt. I'm not happy with having to play this player. And there's gamesmanship all the time. He does funny things with the dice. He rubs them on the table. He looks at them. He's on his phone the whole time, so you don't know who he's on the phone to. And bearing in mind this match was being streamed live, I don't know whether he's getting instructions. You can see he's on the phone now, and it's just no fun. Okay, he's still arguing the case. I'm just wanting him to get on with the game. It's been a long, tough weekend. He's still on the phone, and it's just... Right. The last he rolls and dances. But immediately I'm I'm making errors here. I'm distracted, there's people talking around the board. I'm mid-move here, and already he's moving my checkers around. I'm asking him not to touch my checkers. It's a farce playing this player. He was telling the guys that were watching, neutral bystanders were watching, he was telling them to go away, telling them they're not allowed to sit there and watch the match, which is ridiculous. So I'm really on tilt here, and if I had been of clear mind, I would have hit him there, and of course I don't. I missed the opportunity to hit him, which is an error. Okay, I see the hit now, but actually, again, I make another error. I should have played 18 to 13. So I'm making error after error here. Even though I'm a hugely commanding position, I'm not maximising my chances because I've just been so rubbed up the wrong way by this individual. And now I have a tricky 4-4 to play. And again, I'm not thinking clearly. I should be putting all my checkers so I have the maximum number of checkers bearing in on that 3-point, because that's the point I want to make, because I want to stop him coming in. But I failed to do that. And there he is talking to other people on the... It's just... They're trying to play another semi-final on the other side, and he keeps on interrupting them. And of course, if I played the previous double fours correctly, I would have now been able to make the 3-point because I would have maximised my builders. But I haven't. I'm beginning to settle down again, but I still haven't made that 3-point. Thankfully, he's dancing. I'm still in a commanding position, but I'm not playing as well. Okay, at last I make the 3-point. And I just want to move that checker so I don't give him a good double 2. Okay, he can now start playing out if he rolls another 2. So I've got to think about just tidying up, which I do. Still on the bar. I'll just bring my checkers down, ready to bear them in. And here's a case of just trying to bear them in. Because he's still got 3 checkers on the bar. Oh, sorry, he's still got 3 checkers on the bar. I can't afford to... he moved the checkers away from the middle of the bar, so I thought he only had 1 checker on the bar, which doesn't help. But now I'm just bringing in, making sure that any big doubles that I roll don't cause me any issues. And I want to stack as many checkers as I can up on... Right, now he only has 1 checker left, so I just need to make sure that I clear that final point that he can hit me with. So the 5 has to be played. I'm not going to play 9 to 8 because, of course, he could hit me with 6 and 2. Comes in with a 2 and rightly comes out with the 5. Well, actually, yeah, it's not too bad. Now, I'd love to hit him, but of course, if I hit him, I'd have to break from my 5-point. So I come in with a 5, and then I've got this 2 to play. And I go for the move that I think gives me the easiest chance to bear off. But XG, for some reason, doesn't like that. And I think what it would have preferred me to do is have checkers piled up on my 5, 4, and 3 points. So don't dump checkers behind your opponent's anchor, like I've just done there, but I suppose I had to. I didn't have a choice there. But that was a curious 5-2 I had before. I'm not entirely sure why it's a blunder. So that's a great clearing double six for him. And this double five helps me on my way. Obviously, funnily enough, if I played the XG move previously, double fives would have left a shot, and a shot that would have been hit. So I'm glad that I didn't do the XG move, even though I don't understand why the XG move was what it was. 3-2, I just clear. So gammons are still very much on for me. Just got to clear those last 4 checkers. So he correctly splits those back check. Double 2 clears. Now I have a word with him here because he's got the habit of picking up the dice and rolling before I've even touched the clock, and it's rude for a start because it makes me feel as if I've got to rush my play. So I've asked him, please don't do it. It's not the first time I've had to ask him. We had to do it in the previous match. You know, don't pick up the dice until I have hit the clock. And he's now on Google Translate or something, showing me something that I don't understand. And I say, sorry, I don't speak Italian. I'm pointing out to him that I am English. And he shows me an incomprehensible question. I don't understand that. But I'm trying to point out to him, don't pick up the dice before I hit the clock. Funnily enough, it seems to be a Russian trait. I've had this problem with Russian players before, where they sort of hurry you along with your move by picking up the dice before you've hit the clock. Certainly, it would be considered very rude in the UK if somebody behaved like that. But I am rattled here. I'm 7-0 up, supposedly in good shape, but I'm very, very rattled by the behaviour of this player. And I'd like to say I'm big enough to let it blow over me, but I'm afraid I'm not. And okay, I suddenly have 4 checkers back and 1 on the bar. So I need to come in here, make a good anchor. Double 6 was not what I wanted to see, and over comes the cube. This is an easy pass for me, but I'm also glad to see the back of this game. Looking for any reasons why I should take it, but no, it's an easy drop. And certainly it's 7-0 up in a match 13. You know, I can be happy to drop. I mean, it was a drop, but I can be happy to drop cubes that from positions where I'm not very comfortable. Now it's curious here, he should be making the gammon place, making the 2 point, but he chooses to run. I roll a 6-5. Now, generally speaking, when you've split your back checkers and you roll a 6-5, you don't play the Lover's Leap. You play the forward checker the whole way and leave the checker on the ace point. Generally, so there are exceptions to that rule, but generally that's what you should do. So I'm glad I got that right. And look at that, I'm rewarded with another Lover's Leap, and now I have broken all contact. You'll see in the background that Alfonso is now having to watch this game because of the history of disputes there are between this player and other players, and myself included as well. Alfonso is watching this game to make sure that all is good and proper. So 5-3, always good to make a home board point. Double ones, he makes the rack correctly. And I just need to bring my checkers in safely. I'm slightly ahead in the race, so no need for me to take any massive risks. And in fact, what I do here is I reduce the number of shots that he's got on my loose checker. I can't avoid having a loose checker, but I reduce the number of shots by only giving him 6-4 to hit me. 6-2, well, if I'd left the other checker where it was, it would have been hit, I think. He continues building a strong home board. 5-3. I could play super safe, but I'm prepared to just take the risk to give me extra flexibility. And after this play, he is only 5 pips behind. But he should have made his home board point with making his 3-point. Now I'm just going to bring him in, and no need to take any risks. I've got enough of a advantage, but that 6-4 suddenly makes the race very close. So this is basically a race off. I'm 1 pip ahead. So bringing the checkers down in order to maximize my bearing in position. After the 5-3, we're exactly level on pips. Again, 4-2, building up the 4-point. Always good to build up the 4-point on a bearing off. And I am 6 pips ahead. Not anymore, I'm now 6 pips behind. But that helps. That puts me right in the lead, and certainly in a position where I can be thinking about the double. After my play, I am 14 pips ahead. So maybe thinking about the double, except he rolls a double 6. So all of a sudden he is thinking about the double as he goes 10 pips ahead. Looking at this, we are absolutely level on pips, 66, 66. But he has an extra checker off. He's got I've got 2 more checkers to bring in. I've got a little bit of wastage with that spare checker on my 2-point. But it's still not quite a double, but very nearly a double. But he chooses to play on, and I bet he wished he'd double now, but he hasn't. Double 6 it, so that will close off that game, because I will almost definitely drop next time. Doesn't matter what I play here. I know I'm seeing the cube, and so over comes the cube, and I will drop it. So you'll see, since we've had our little dispute, I failed to win a game. I'm rattled. I'm not playing well at all, actually, in this whole match, and sadly, I've let my opponent get to me. So I'm looking to see if I can get back on the front foot. That double six helps. Let's get the scoreboard turning again. That's what I need to do. So that double six, it's a very good foundation with which to build on. And oh, that's a good roll for him. Allows him to keep up with me in terms of the pip race, the pip count. And after this play, he's only 6 pips behind. And I roll a very small number there. Now XG likes me making my 5 point here, and on many occasions I would do, but I don't. Because his back checkers are split. I mean, that's gives him 2 shots, 3s and 6s to hit me on the bar point. If I make my 5 point, even though the 5 point is very valuable, so I choose not to make the 5 point because I can move that checker down and put that checker out of range, and still try and make the 5 point next time. But XG doesn't like that, and so he'll anchor up with the double 3s, and again shift some wood, and now goes ahead in the race. And I miss a trick here. I fall asleep. I want to keep that checker on the 11 point. I don't want to stack it up on my bar point. So I played this play when actually what I should have done was made my 10 point and block his 6s, because 6s are blocked on both sides of the board, but I missed a trick there. And while I've got that blot at my home board, he should be using this opportunity to run with one of his back checkers and make his 3 point, but he doesn't. And he plays this rather ugly 6, which is just dumping checkers. Not a very nice play. So nothing useful to do here other than safety that checker on the 11 point. This isn't too bad. I'm just waiting now for a decent double to release those back checkers and just play on. So just a decent, we'll look at that, double 5s. Brilliant. Just what the doctor ordered. I can clear that back checker. Probably puts me in good shape ahead in the race. In fact, I'm 16 pips ahead after this. But he rolls 16 pips now. So it puts us level in the race, and he's got a strong home board, and I've got a few awkward rolls. So the cube doesn't come. That helps a lot. And again, I can start thinking about the cube, but probably don't think I've got enough of a race, and he's got a 5 point board. So I can play the 6-3 to clear. It was just a double in that position, but I know he takes late, so I'm prepared to hold off on doubling, because I know he will take this late, as he's done in every other match I've played with him. Now, I'm looking at this position. I'm 12 raw pips ahead, and I still don't think I'm good enough to double. But actually I was. And if I'd taken the time to really look at the position, I think I would have doubled. And actually it's a double pass, but I believe he would have taken. Now in this position now, I am only 10 raw pips ahead. I don't like the gap on my 4 point. I overestimate Red's winning chances here. And he's only got 20% winning chances from this position. So I get this very wrong. I should have doubled. I would have been happy with a pass and probably just as happy with a take. In fact, he's only got 19% winning chances here. So I really should have doubled here. I'm thinking about it. I use the eyesights method, and eyesights sometimes underestimates the leading player's winning chances, and it certainly did on this occasion, and I calculated it at 74%, which for me wasn't enough against this player because I know he would take at 78, 79%. So I wanted to see if we could get the position evolved a little bit more, and I can give him a cube that should be a pass. But I get that totally wrong because this is a massive pass. He only wins 19% of the time. I'm surprised. Well, I'm not surprised because the method I use, that's the results they give me. And the thing with all these pip count methods, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, and you've got to find the one that gives you the most accurate results most of the time. There's no system that gets it right all of the time. So he brings both checkers in, and here I'm still not liking it because I've still got the gap on the 4 point, and I'm only 8 raw pips ahead. Obviously the double 4 is fantastic for me. Probably means I've missed my opportunity to double, and that's quite frustrating because he would have incorrectly taken those previous cubes, and I could have maximised points. I could have got 2 points rather than the 1. And in this case, I only get the 1 point, which may be telling later in the match when I'm trying to bring the match home. Even now he's thinking about it, and this is a massive drop. He only wins 8% at the time, 9% at the time, but he's still thinking about taking. So with this player that you can double late, but he will eventually drop. And he drops. So I get the scoreboard turning again, thankfully. Okay, so he's behind in the match. He plays the aggressive 4-3 down, the attacking 4-3. This wins him the most gammons. Double 5s, really this is the only play I can play. Very difficult to get this wrong. And because he's played that 4-3, he can now make a valuable home board point with those 2 checkers that he's brought down. Now, having stripped my midpoint, I've now got to play the 2, make the 2 play, which I don't like to play. He rolls a very good double 6. So strong position for him. I'm looking to face the cube next time, so pretty much whatever I play here doesn't matter because I will face the cube. It's too gammonish and I will drop. Again, looking for reasons why I can take this, even though it's a clear drop, looking for reasons why I can take this. I'm only 8 pips behind in the race. Home board probably a little bit more developed than his. But he's just, because of my blot in my home board, he's going to hit me loose. The 2 checkers in his home board loose, and that in turn creates too many opportunities for him to win a gammon. So now my plan with this match at this stage, I'm 5 points away from target, is I'm quite happy to slug it out 1 point at a time. He picks up a point, I pick up a point, he picks up a point, until we bring the match home. So you'll see me a little reticent to use the cube here, which turns out to be incorrect on occasion. So here he is, he's telling people they're not allowed to sit there and watch the match, which I think he suspects that Italian player that you can just see on the screen of sending me signals, which is the most ridiculous thing you could imagine. So poor old Preto, who was happily watching that match, has now been told to go away, which is ridiculous. But again, this is all part of his strategy to unnerve his opponent. I see it time and time again. And such a contrast to the way the Italians behave at their own tournaments, who couldn't be anything but gentlemen. So I need to cause some trouble here. Yes, I managed to hit him, good. And then I spread the builder from 6 to 5. So I've just stopped him in his tracks from making his 5-point prime, a prime in front of me. And hopefully I'll be able to continue that. But that double one is a good roll for him. He can hit me, remake that prime, and spread that back checker. So here there's only one play really, just to escape that checker and focus his mind on that escaping checker. I'm not going to hit loose on the 2, that would be the incorrect play. I'm winning the race, so just play the 6. I mean, the other alternative, I could have played 11 to 5, but I want to get that back checker moving before he improves his board anymore. And he's a little underpowered around the home board. Slightly. He only has 9 checkers in the zone. Well, the 5's a good play for him, and comes up with a 2 to come to the edge of my developing prime. So he is correctly thinking about the double there, but it's not quite a double yet. He is favourite to win, but and the double 4 he's got here. Yes, it's correct to unstack that heavy point, the 6 point, so onto his 2 point. He can't play anything from the back, and the other option is for him. The other 4s are for him to come down from the midpoint, but which is the right play, but he doesn't feel comfortable doing it because again it splits his armies. Excuse me. Right, 4-1 works well for me. I can point on him and build the rack, so that's a great play for me. It's funny play that. I think he should have played out from the back. But he's given me a good 2. And so I have to double hit here. It's just crazy not to. And I'll be looking at the cube, or should be looking at the cube anyway, next roll if I do play this. So he's got 2 on the bar. Gammons are very big. I mean, maybe I won't look at the cube because the gammons are there. You've still got a checker on the bar. I've got a direct shot. I think I'm playing too good here. And also I don't want to use the cube because he'll take it. I'd rather just grind out the points and maybe pick up a gammon here or there. I should have doubled. And that's not a bad roll for me, provided I play it correctly. I've got a choice. I could hit outside, or I could make my 2 point. Both are correct. So he dances, but I really want to knock that checker off my 3 point. I don't want him anchoring there. But I'm not going to hit him loose. I'm going to send another checker back and split those to look to try and get that 3 point next time. So with those spare checkers I've got out in the outfield, yeah, I'll use one of those to hit. You don't want him getting a second anchor in your home board, so that's why I hit that. He's now in, so really I want to make that that point quickly. Well, that's a good roll, fantastic roll for me. And look, I can make a 6 point prime. Okay, so now it's a case of playing on for the gammon, looking to extricate my checker from the back, which has got a few hurdles to get over. It can't move at the moment. And bearing in mind all the time that he's dancing, he's not crunching his board at all. So, you know, there are some awkward numbers there. Double sixes, double fives, double fours especially are going to be 6 and 5. You see, no, those big numbers stop me. Double sixes, okay, so that breaks, you know, breaks any chance I have of escaping. Okay, but it has killed my sixes now. I can't play sixes, which is not a bad thing. So I get a 6-4, I can only play the 4, but I've still not escaped that back checker, and it's getting a little bit close for comfort. He's now in, but has to play the 6 that way. So that's a relief. I have to play the 2 out. It hits him, which is good, but I have to get that back checker moving to try and get over that 3 point prime. He's now in. He's looking at the hit. That's just wrong. Just wrong. And so there's some awkward numbers. Double 4s could make me crunch my board. Double 3s could make me crunch my board. 4 and 3. But I get out, play that one in safe, get out, and now it's just a case of getting home. Hopefully I won't encounter him in the outfield. That double 4 is good for me because it crunches his board. You can still maintain a 4 point board, but it crunches it. So that's a sigh of relief for me. I haven't been able to turn the cube in this, and I did have an opportunity earlier in the match to turn the cube, so I might be ruining that. But I'm because that would put me, you know, very close to target. But bring around here, yeah. So gammons are looking very strong for me now. His board continues to crunch. I mean, there's some backgammon considerations to be had here. So that's worth considering, but it's a shame I didn't roll a more exciting number than a 2-1. Still, I can't complain. I've had more than my fair share of luck in this match. You know, I'm winning 8-3, and again, I think XG would have preferred me to have stacks on my 5, 4 and 3 points than just on 2 of the points. But because instead of playing safe here, playing both off the back, I am still considering the gammon, so I'm going to take the 5 off. Considering the backgammon, okay, well that double 6 is very good for him. Suddenly the gammon chances are very much, backgammon chances are very much reduced, so I'm now focusing on just playing the gammon, and I can't take one off, but I just spread those spare checkers now so that I can bear them off. He rolls another double 6. So for somebody who complains about the veracity of the dice, he's not doing too badly. You can't see the board there if it's out of if it's blurred. I rolled a 5-3, and he now rolls a 5-2. Hopefully we'll get back into focus shortly. I can read out the rolls. I roll a double 4 there. I can only play 3 of them, and I've got a slightly awkward board to bear in with, but the gammons are still on. Not so many backgammons, but certainly gammons are still on. And I now roll double 3s, and I can take. I've got 5 3s to play, but I can only play 4 of them. So I've got to decide whether I take one off or whether I play 5-2. Very little in it. I should be playing 5-2 because that wins me marginally more gammons. He rolls another double 6. That's his 3rd double 6. So from a position where he was really facing a backgammon, he's now looking like he might even get off the gammon, which will be a little frustrating for me, but hey ho. Okay, I've just got to avoid rolling the 1, which I managed to do. I've got 3 left, which is a bit awkward, but I don't think I'll stick around. Oh look, a double 4. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so unless I roll a double here, it looks like I have only won a single game, having done so much work on this. How very disappointing. And there it is. So very few rolls fail to take a checker off here, and he's off. Okay. So, well, at least I'm 9-3 up. I'm 6 points ahead of him in this match. Again, I'm happy to be reticent to use the cube, just so that I can just grind it out, 1 point at a time each. I'm sorry if the focus is a little out for you at the moment. I've rolled a 4-2, so I make the standard play. He rolls a 5-3 and makes the standard play. I roll a double 5, which is a great roll for me. It shifts some checkers, makes another point in my home board. And his 4-1. A bit too aggressive considering I've got a 3-point board. He should probably not have slotted in his home board, but he gets away with it. I can't hit him. But I will, mindful of the fact that he's got 2 blots there, I will split my back checkers. And he's underpowered, so he can't attack me. I'm duplicating his 6-4s. And that's a good roll for him because he manages to make both points again. So we're both, I'm ahead in the race. So I do want to run. I'm not so much interested in keeping him in. I'm interested in getting my checkers out safely. And after that play, I'm 20 pips ahead. But he now does the same sort of thing as I did. Splits his back checkers just to give himself flexibility. Double fives is great for me. And unfortunately I can't move that back checker, but I'll just spread my builders. And I'm looking to continue with the blitz if I can. But that 2 is good for him. It means he can anchor up, and my blitz is dead. So I'm now reliant on a priming game, but also at the same time racing game, if I can get that back checker out. Can't quite get him out far enough, but I can develop my prime in front of him, which is what I choose to do. I leave him 1s to hit, but I've now got a better home board than him. He doesn't hit. And what he should be doing here is playing both off the 13 point to try and prime me in. But he goes for the blitzing play here by attacking me and hitting me. XG prefers the priming play. Now I don't want to dance here, of course, but I do. And he can now further develop the blitz and or escaping play. And that does both, because he makes another home board point, makes that checker safe, and brings a checker up ready to escape from the back. I dance again, and now he throws the cube over, and I'm left with a tricky decision. Bearing in mind, I want to keep I said before the game here that I wanted to keep the cube small. I don't want to let it get big. And he's offered me the cube here, and I'm up in the air. I have another blot. I just worried about gammon, so I drop. I incorrectly drop. It's a take, but it's only an error, not a blunder. It's only an error to drop this. But I'm happy to pass at this sort of match score situation. So 9-4, I match the 13. I make the standard opening 6-3 play. He'll return with a shot and come up to my 5 point, put it under pressure. We get into another battle for the 5 points in the block hitting contest. And of course, that's the last thing you want to see when you're in a block hitting contest, dancing on a 1 point board. Early correct double at this match score. So I have to take. It's too early, and I've got to take it, but obviously not happy having to take it. He picks up another checker, and floods the outfield with more builders to try and which he can afford to do. That double 4s is good for me. It helps me anchor up, allows me to anchor up, and just try and build some structure. I'm not going to try and do anything with the back checkers. I build some structure in front of that back prime and that back checker in case there's I manage to get another of his checkers off. Okay, well, 2 good things there. I can make a point on my home board, and I hit him, stop him from playing. Now with the cube on 2, he's gone for the blitzing play here because it wins him more gammons, but it doesn't win him as many games, and actually XG prefers the non-blitzing play, the non-hitting play in fact. So he got that wrong. He's able to come in and hit me again. Double 4s is good. It means I can come in, I can hit him. I don't quite know. I don't know why I didn't go on to hit the second checker, which would have been the right thing to do. I choose just to give myself some structure in front of him, which is the wrong idea. He can escape with that 6. So I just bring a checker out. I don't mind recycling it if it being hit, but I just need to, because if he hits it, of course, I might be able to make a second anchor. So I'm quite happy just to place it there and fully expecting it to be hit. But of course he can't hit it, so he hits me on the ace point instead, which is incorrect. I now hit him back. I've got a 2 to play, so 2 on the bar, better by far. I wish I'd listened to myself before about that when I had the double 4s. It didn't, and he comes in, so it's really helpful here. If I can make that point, that 4 point, that gives me a 3-point home board. I can. That's good. That's very good. And just the 1 to play. So now I'm just spreading my builders, spreading my checkers around so that I can maximize what they can do. I've got a 3-point board and a sort of developing prime in front of him. He's got stacks and not very strong. Now I've got the 4-point anchor, and I like making the 10 point, so that just plays itself. But that's a great roll for him. That punches my prime, and I'm now just got to try and play this in safely. After this roll, I'm 10 pips ahead. So if I can just tiptoe out of there. He's a little wary of leaving me a shot, but not too wary because he has got that anchor. So right to run there. And he's wary of hitting me because A, he doesn't really do much. He doesn't send me back very far and it doesn't make a point. He pointed on me, but he's not so keen on hitting me loose. And the correct play here is just to play the boring play. And he's only 4 pips behind in the race. He's on my 5 point, so he's going to be able to escape easily from that. So the right play is that's right. Well done. The 4-3 for me. I could have run there. Because I'd rather he hit me in the outfield and broke his and rather than hit me inside. But he doesn't hit me, which probably he should have done. But now that means I can escape with a great double 3. XG prefers it actually if I played 3-1 there as well, just to spread my checkers around the home board, which is better for the bear in and the bear off and the race. Now here it's more important that I clear that checker on that outfield point rather than make the 6-1, make the 2 point. Because I'm in the race here and I'm marginally ahead, well I was, so I'm just looking to bring my checkers home safely. After that double 3, I'm only 3 pips ahead. I've got a 3-2 to play here. And I played that. What I could have done was 9-6-4-2 because behind your opponent's forward anchor, it doesn't matter which order in which you make your points. And that's something that's worth bearing in mind. Similar to when you're blitzing, it doesn't matter which order you make your points. Right, so the 5-4. Is this a pay me now, pay me later situation? Do I run 15-6? And the answer is no, I shouldn't run. I do run, but I do that incorrectly, and I shouldn't run because his position is stripped. Something's going to give in his position, and now I've given him a good chance to roll well. He doesn't roll well, thankfully, but I should have actually just waited for him for one of those points to break. But I can now play down 5-4. I got away with that. And after that 6-5, still very close in the race. I'm marginally ahead, 6 pips ahead. I'm just probably doing a quick count here to know, so I know what stage I ought to be thinking about recubing. But he will have quite a low take point, I think. No, quite high. But that's not a big roll for me. And I should have cleared off the 8 point there because it's easier to clear 4 checkers than 5. So I got that bit wrong. Probably I was disappointed with only rolling a 2-1. His 5-4 he should have run. And now I correctly clear off that 5th checker. In that position, you're always better off with 4 checkers rather than 5, because if you roll the big double, you don't want to have to leave one behind. So I've got the cube on my side of the board. Am I going to use it? I don't think I've had a valid opportunity to use it yet at this match score. And really, if I use it, I want to use it to kill off the match. I don't want him taking. Because if he takes it, then it comes back to me on 8. I'm not rolling big here, which doesn't help my cause. And because I'm not rolling big, and I'm now behind in the race. This is on the raw count, of course. So I'm not going to clear that 8 point, which I could do. Because actually I want to try and contain him because he's pretty much ahead. So I can play those checkers. I've got a 5 point board now, and so that's why I didn't clear the 8 point. He's now forced to break his 3 point, which gives him a very fast speed board, and now I'm compelled to clear one of those points. But after my play, I'm only 5 pips ahead. He's got a lot of working doubles. And off he goes with 1. Now I have to hit here because we're pretty much even in the race. And I'd rather give him a 30% chance of hitting me than a 50% chance of winning the race. He dances here, and I should kill this game and double him out. But I'm just wary of him taking and throwing the cube back, so I don't double. I expect to have cleared that point, safetied that point, which I don't. Thankfully he dances, and again I should just be doubling him out, but I'm wary of the cube coming back to him, and I want to double him when it's a position I can easily measure, when it's a pure race with no contact left. And of course now there are gammon chances, so that's why I'm playing on. So on he comes. So I will be thinking about the double at some stage, but I'm just wary of seeing that cube, and I know he'll take late. I am playing on for the gammon while he's still got checkers in my outfield. There's nothing wrong with doing that. And of course, if he rolls a big double, then I can just double him out, supposedly. So Still too good, although it's very, very slim chance of winning the gammon. I think I'm calculating if I can still win the gammon. I can be off in 3 rolls. He rolls 2-1 now. Right. So I think everything gets him off, even double 4s. So I still play it out, but I could have doubled it. Now I'm just going to double him out. He may play it wrong. No. Okay. So 11-4. I am 2 away from target. My strategy of probably not playing the best cube action that I should have done, certainly as far as XG is concerned. I'm all right with that. All I wanted to do was grind it out, point at a time, gammon at a time, without letting the cube get big against this frisky player. Does mean my PR is pretty rubbish. I can't just blame my cube action for that. I've also made some very poor plays. So opening 6-1 for him, he makes his 6 point. Locks any lover's leap for me. I start to make a home board point with the 3-1. He then forgoes his 8 point correctly to make his 5 point. And because he's closed the door to my lover's leap, I now have to play the 6 down. And at this match score, he throws the cube across. It's marginal. It's not a cube according to XG, but it's very marginal and certainly very understandable that he's done it. So he's now developed a 4-point prime, and it's looking like a good cube. I think, even though XG doesn't like it, I think it's the right play. So again, I've developed a 4-point prime and come up to the edge of his prime, which he has to hit me off, and then comes down with a 5. He doesn't want me coming up to the edge of his prime, because that means I can escape. And he's prepared to risk sending another checker back, which he does, because again, I come up to the edge of this prime, knock him off, and send him back to the beginning again. So the 5s now are awkward for him. He goes for the kamikaze play, the nuclear option, and hits me incorrectly on the ace point. I could hit him again, but I'm not going to. I'm more concerned with just anchoring up. I've got 3 of his checkers back, anchoring up, and I'm 2 points away and the cube's been turned. I don't need to win a gammon, I just need to win the game. So in with the 4 and spread some builders with the 1. So I'm in good shape here. He'll escape, I think, with the yeah. He'll come running out, and that way it gives him a spare checker to play with. And here we go. As I always say, you need a damn good reason not to make a 5-point prime, and I have a good reason to make 5-point prime there. That you can come in and hit, which is a little awkward, but as long as I don't dance, but I do dance. And he'll come out with a double 6, so he'll bring a checker out. He's playing very fast. I'm struggling to keep up with what he's doing. I presume he only played 4 there. He did. But I can come in. Now I've got a slot here because, well, I do. I'm not going to break the 5-point prime. I'm happier slotting. I might be able to make that point. He doesn't hit, but he'll hit me there correctly to stop me playing. Now I have to come in with a 2, and I'm not keen on breaking my forward anchor, which is of course incorrect. I should be breaking the forward anchor, and I shouldn't be breaking my 5-point prime. Coming back to this saying of mine, you need a damn good reason not to make a 5-point prime. You need a damn good reason to break a 5-point prime, and that certainly wasn't it. Wasn't one. But I get away with it. But he hits me in his home board, so this is getting very volatile, very scary, especially as the cube is on 2. At least I've got the forward anchor, but I can remake my board slightly. He can't hit in my home board, but continues slapping away at checkers in his home board. I come in. I'd love to have made that point. I can't now. Only one spare 5. Hitting wouldn't be right in his in my home board. So out I come, and I'm really expecting to be hit here. Yeah. So there's the hit, and he can make another point in his home board. So it's just got a little bit scary now. I dance, which is not helpful to me. And he hits me again. This is looking a little awkward. At least I can bring one on. And that's a great roll because it means he can come up again and now make a 5-point board. So yeah, I'm looking, well, that's good. 4-3 means I can come in and out, provided he avoids the 1s. He does, but he does come up with a 3 because he wants that escaping checker, and he can escape without breaking his anchor at the expense of his 5-point board. That's a good shot, 5-4. Now, if I can avoid dancing, but I dance, well. And he remakes his 5-point board. And he's got to leave me a shot within reach, but he leaves the one with the fewest number, double 4s rather than 4 and 3. There's only one way to roll a double 4, but plenty of ways to roll, well, 2 ways to roll 4 and 3. 4 and 3 and 3 and 4. And out he comes, and now double 4 would be great for me now, but any 4 would actually be good, but dancing doesn't help. So he has now escaped my board, and I'm on damage limitation. You know, I just need to bring my checkers on and safely home. There's a small chance I could possibly pick up one of his checkers, but I'm doing a lot of dancing at the moment, and you can't do anything while you are dancing. More importantly, I'm failing to move any checkers, which pushes up his gammon chances with every roll. It chose not to make the point in front of me within reach, because that could then become a liability for him when he has to clear it. Okay, is that a 4 I see? Oh, that's not my 4, his 4, right. I'm still dancing. Still dancing and looking very much at losing a gammon here. And again, he chooses not to bring the points down because they're. It's better to leave a blot now than later when he has to clear my 10 points or 9 points. Sadly, that misses. I come in with a 5. I'm not keen on coming out with the come in with the 4. I'm not keen on coming out with the 5 because if he hits me, that pushes up his gammon chances. So. It actually would have been right to come out. Right, so I've got a few shots that hit here. That is not one of them. So now all I'm interested in doing is bringing all my checkers in as quickly as possible. I'm not going to get the shot, really. So I am just going to get my checkers around as quick as I can. Not thinking at all about getting a shot. So being as efficient as I can with the bearings. I don't want to stack any checkers down on my board. I just want to pile them all up on my 6 point. That's fine. Oh, great. Double 6 is brilliant. So that helps shift some wood. Now, having said I don't want to waste any checkers, what do I do here? I waste a checker and put it, there you go. Look, I've wasted 1, 2, 3 pips. Now, that might come in costly at the end of the game if I lose a gammon by 3 pips. He clears double 1s. So now gammon's looking quite big and I've wasted some pips there. So I come out all the way with the 4-2. 5-4, he's going for the gammon. He's got to clear. He's got to take a checker off here. It's worth the extra risk taking a checker off, leaving those checkers on his 6 point. A tiny roll here, and gammons are looking very onerous for me, especially as I wasted 3 pips before. Now, because of the increased gammons, and gammons are so valuable to Erat here, he should really take a checker off, but he doesn't. Which is a shame, because if he'd played the correct move, I would have hit him and covered with a 4. But he played the incorrect move, and I missed. Sometimes in backgammon you are rewarded for doing the wrong thing and punished for doing the right thing. Look at this, gammons are looming up. I need a decent roll. 5-4's not too bad. A couple of crossovers. Double 5s, right, so I'm now needing a doubles to clear. Look at that, I failed to do it. And look, I failed to do it by 3 pips. I wonder if my wasted 6 on my double 6 play before has contributed to me losing a gammon there. So when going into save against a gammon, do not waste pips. Just don't waste pips. So I lose 4 points there, and suddenly it's got very close. 2-1. I've been sitting on 11 for quite a while now. Not able to get off it. So XG actually likes me hitting on the 2 point, but that's, I mean, that's just 2 XG. And he double hits because he is gammon go here, and that would be correct. And it stops me playing. But I had him back, and that's puts me in good shape. He has 3 checkers back now. He might be able to anchor up. He does with a 4-2. So I'm going to be playing against a holding game. So I need to safety up that checker on the that one there, yeah, and come up with a 2 ready to escape. So I'm looking to build a prime in front of his 4-point anchor. He manages to build a little mini prime in front of my back checkers. Because of that, I now want to escape with either of them. I can't escape cleanly with the one on the 4-point, his 4-point, but I can make a dash at going. And if he hits me out there, at least I'm 6 away, so that I might get a return shot. And he's going to hit me loose. Doesn't mind being hit back, recycling. So that works well. It allows me to bring my checker out safely to the 15 point, and we're going to get him off the ace point. We're going to get rid of that goalkeeper. He's a bit awkward. We don't like him there. Let's get him out. He comes in and continues to build his board. So I'm in good shape here. I'm developing a prime in front of him. I've got a few pointing numbers if I can, but I can't. And I choose to play very meekly here. Now we talked about pay me now, pay me later. Now is the time to pay me now. I should have run from that back checker, back point, because he's got an undeveloped home board. But I don't. I play a bit meekly, and he's now had time to develop his home board more. So when I do come to clear that point on the 15 point, my 15 point, it's going to be a little bit more tricky. So I play the 4-1 down. You know, I'm just interested in playing safe here. And he continues to develop his home board here. Now, I roll a 4-4 here, and I've got many options. When you roll doubles, take your time and look at all the different permutations. Because it's doubles, there are many more ways to get this wrong. I've got a choice. I can make the 4-point, I can make the bar point, or I can play the checkers down. Now I choose to make the bar point because, hey, it can't be wrong to make the bar point. Usually it's good to make the bar point, and it means I've got landing pad to play down from the midpoint. But actually making the bar point was wrong. I should have moved both the checkers, both points off the back. The point, if I'd made the 11 point, that's out of direct range from his anchors, and if I'd played down 13 to 9, they would have been spare checkers with which to play, and it would have made my 4-3 a lot easier to play because I could have made the 5 point. But as a result, because I played the wrong play, I dumped a checker on my ace point. So take your time when you roll doubles. He's now developed his board even more. But thankfully I rolled a 6-4, so that is that safe landing pad I was looking for, which was the idea originally playing the double fours the way I did, even though it was incorrect. Okay, so I'd really like to get the cube across at some stage. Now is not the time. But I'm getting close to when I should be thinking about the cube. Double sixes, bang. Right, so I'm going to make my 2 and 3 point, and I have to decide whether I want to leave a blot on the 9 or the 8 point. Without doing the calculations now, I think I decided that leaving it on the 8 point would leave fewer shots for him. Yes, it's just 5-4 that hits and double fives. If I leave it on the 9 point, if I leave it on the 8 point, it's 5-3, double fours, 5-4. So that's more shots. So that's why I decided to leave it on the 9 point. So take your time on these moves and just work out which gives your opponent fewer shots. He comes in straight away, plays the 4-2, and here I should be doubling. But I know that he takes late. I'm way ahead in the race. I've got this nasty gap in front of me. I've got a blot that I've got to clear, so I choose not to double. I know that he may well take late, especially at this match score. And of course, I could win a gammon here. So I choose incorrectly not to double. But I'm pretty sure he would have taken, even though it's a pass. Double fives, that helps his race. Again, I should be thinking about the double here. It's not so clear. So after this play, again, I'm thinking about the double and calculating how many bad rolls I have. Funnily enough, even though I've been trying to improve my position before doubling, this has actually not improved my position. This is the worst position I've had in the last 3 rolls in terms of doubling. It's still a double pass. It's still a double pass. But I'm pretty sure that Irat will take this, and so I double him, knowing that he'll take. He spends a bit of time, I mean, he might have dropped. He spends a bit of time thinking about this, but I'm pretty sure he'll take this. And suddenly I'm playing for the match. Well, I'm playing for the match. He's playing to stay in the match. So I'm way ahead in the race. My pip count here is 47, his is 94. So he wins very, very few races from here. The way he's going to win this is if he can pick up a shot. Now he wins from this position 22% of the time. So it's very close to a take as far as XG is concerned, but it's not a take. Especially as he doesn't win many backgammons, many gammons from here. So it looks like he's now counting my bad rolls. And remember, when you're calculating the bad rolls, so I've got to roll badly, but he's then got a hit. So what you basically do is you count how many bad rolls your opponent has and then divide it by 3 to know the number of hits. From a racing perspective, let's see if I've got time to work this out while we're still here. My adjusted pip count would be 47, 48, 49, 50, 54. My adjusted pip count is 54, 55. His would be 94, 95. yeah, I mean, he's got virtually zero racing chances from this. So winning chances are absolutely negligible. So it's all down to, so he takes it. He incorrectly takes the cube. I'm not sure if I'm happy to see that or not, but I'm certainly happy to see the double twos. That's a great roll for me. I can bear in safely. I can throw off 2 checkers, and he correctly redoubles me now to 8. Now comes a big roll that helps him in this double 5. So I've got now, he's caught up in the race. Looks like he's going to maintain his 6s. No. Maintaining 6s. I've got a bad 6-2 now if I roll, but I'm still way ahead in the race. 5-1. I can't take any off, but I can play safely, which is my number one priority, seeing as I'm so far ahead in the race. But he rolls another double 5. But I'm still way ahead in the race. 4-1 is awkward because I don't take a checker off, but I'm still in good shape in this. Probably about 85% winning chances. He rolls a 4-3, takes 2 checkers off, and I roll 4-1 again, which means I only take 1 checker off. He takes 2 checkers off. And after this play, I'm still 83% favourite to win here, so I'm not too worried. 6-4, that's a great roll for me. I get 2 checkers off. So I'm doing very, very well here. Still about, after this play, 86.5% favourite to win. He really needs to roll a double to be able to, a working double, to be able to catch me. And after that play, he's only 7% favourite to catch me. So I'm looking at being able to clear up here, get the match won. So now it's only double 5s and double 6s that's going to save him. Now he does this funny thing with the dice before rolling. I'm not happy, and he gives him a shake. Give him a shake and starts messing around and gets the dice out again, rubs them on the table, and it's all very disconcerting when your opponent starts doing things like that. You just wonder what he's doing. Is he rubbing the dice on the table to put irons on the electrons on the 6? And look, there you go, double 6. So the match is not over. And we go to 12-11. Much to my dismay, and the dismay, may I say, of all the Italians that were standing around watching it. This guy is not popular with the Italian players, and they're very upset to see that the match was not over. So the screen has frozen. I'm sure it will come back. We go on a little break after this match, so maybe that's what's happening. I'm going to use this opportunity to take a break from commentary. I will be back in just a moment. So I'm back online with commentary. I see the screen is still frozen. I'm sure it will come back before the end of the match. So we are at game 13. My opponent has just won 4 points, having rolled a double six. Only double fives and double sixes work for him. And after rolling the dice for about a minute and playing with them for about a minute and rubbing them on the table for about a minute, rubbing them on the tablecloth, and not sure what he was doing, but he rolled his dream double six. And to snatch the match away from me. The screen is still frozen, but I will carry on talking on the assumption that we will get the match back. It sounds like, because I've still getting the audio through from the file, that it's just the screen that's frozen, not the whole lot. And so here we go. Now we're back into match 13. We've jumped ahead a bit, and I am stuck. I'm stuck behind a 3-point prime. I have a developed board. So 3-1, he's just deciding whether to hit me or spread his builders and slot in his home board. Bearing in mind I need a 2 to cover that blot in my home board to fully close off my prime. So if I hit with a 2, I don't have the 2 necessarily to cover that blot, plus I have a blot in the outfield. So he's thinking about that move, or he'll think about hitting me. The move he's looking at the moment is actually the correct move because of the duplication of 2s. It also wins him, well, he's not interested in gammons, but it wins him the most games, and he's interested in just winning a game. It also loses him fewer gammons, which has to be a consideration for him. I can't win the game with a cube here, so he just needs to avoid gammons. So now he's looking at the hit. Of course, I hit him here with, if he plays this play, I hit him here with any 2 or double 1s. So that's 12 shots. Whereas this way, I only hit him with 6-3, 4-5, 3, 4. It's only six hitting numbers. There may be a few others, but and double fours, of course. So he hits more often. I hit more often with this, but because of the duplication, he will benefit from that. So this is the correct play. More hits, but more duplication. He's got plenty of time on his clock, even because he's a fast player. He now has plenty of time on his clock to spend time over this play. And this is the incorrect play. Not least because it loses him more gammons. He's suddenly got 2 blots around the board rather than the 1. So I'm now going to anchor up on the ace point, and I get this play wrong because I think it's valuable having the 5 point, but actually I don't want to be dumping checkers. So I've got this wrong. I should have come off the 5 point, but I don't. And now he can play the 6-2 safe and tidy up. He's got a few awkward rolls after this because, you know, you get something like a 6-1, 6-2, 6-3. And here again, because I want to keep that 5 point anchor, I incorrectly think I want to keep the 5 point anchor. I make the ace point, and I think, well, you know, it's a 5 point board, not bad, but actually I should have come off the bar point, the 5 point, and moved on. So that's a good roll for him. Double 6, double 5s, so he can make points now. And now it's my turn to roll double 5s, so I have to go now. And I get myself in the muddle here, and I manage to play 5 5s. Instead of the 4 that I'm allowed to. But one of the players watching spotted it, but neither myself nor Erat spotted that. Or if he did, he didn't say anything. Still, it allows me to make my board, and I've got a very small chance of saving this game with a shot. He can manage to bear in. Not great. Double 5s. Well, thankfully my 5s are now dead, and I've still got a 5 point board. And he continues this ugly stacking on his early points as he tries to clear without leaving me a direct shot. 6s and 5s are dead, so I can't play. And now he's got this awkward 2 to play, which means he's got to leave me a shot. So he's going to leave me a shot, and I now need to hit to stay in the game. Well, that's a relief. That's a real relief. I've got the shot. I've still got a lot of work to do because that my 5-point board is open at the 6 points, and of course if he comes in he's got no impediment to escaping on. But you know, at least I've done the hard bit. I've escaped, I've hit, and now I've got to bring my checkers round and cover as much of the outfield as I can. And there's not much between playing 21-15 or 20-14. He dances, and I want to cover as much. Okay, double fives. Well, that brings me in good shape in the race. After the double five, I'm quite far ahead in the race. So I've got to balance the desire to play safe, but also just to pick up that checker if I can, because of the gammons that I might win. A very small number of gammons that I can win. So this is the correct play. Just in case he comes in with a 6, I've got some return shots. Even if he rolls 6-5, because I've then got to come in. Obviously 6-6 is great for him. All right, 6, and he plays that. So I'm going to try and pick and pass if I can. I do. I think briefly about taking a checker off, but for the increased gammon chances, but that would be very, very wrong. And it's certainly right to hit there because of the race. Now he's straight in 6, and he's efficiently bearing in with the 1. So this is a straight old race. Hopefully we won't see a repeat of his race escaping rolls that he managed to do in the last game. Which really, you know, from no winning chances from the race, he managed to race from an impossible position. And 6-5. So he's got a few working doubles, double 6s, double 3s, double 2s. If I can just keep on taking 2 off every time, and he can avoid the big doubles. 6-3 takes 2 off. Oh, I find the gap. Shouldn't cost me too much. I've got an even number of checkers off. He manages to find the gap. But, you know, I've been in better positions than this before and lost the race to Erat. So 5, good, 2 off. Right, I'm off in 3 rolls. There's the double. That's the first double. 1, 2, 3. I don't think he can win from here. I did question the fact that he hadn't rolled those dice when he rolled rolled the double 5s. He hadn't shaken the dice, which is why I made an exaggerated point of shaking the dice. There comes his next double, but that's it. He can't win. I'm appealing here to the director that he didn't shake his dice before rolling the double 5s, but to no avail. For any English players out there, if this gentleman Erat Fatikov ever comes to play in the UK, keep your eye on him. There'll be all sorts of gamesmanship going on. Okay, we're back at 12 all. And can we do anything here? So I've put both dice down to offer him 1. He's picked up both, checked them all and put them down. It's just the whole thing is just comical. You know, normally in that situation you just take 1. You don't pick up both. So he's just annoying to play with. Double 4s, bang, great roll for him. He hits me out there, hits me in there, and already I am on the back foot. Not the way I wanted to start this last game. Okay, I managed to bring both in. And then he's able to do the lover's leap here, correctly playing from the back because the forward one is already out in the outfield. The The 6-2 I played correctly. I'm going to anchor up on the 3 point, double fives. He plays that one wrong. He shouldn't have bothered hitting. Okay, I'm not going to anchor up on the midpoint, on the 5 point, because I'm now so far behind in the race. I want my anchor as far back as possible. What I should have done there, of course, was to slot my 4 point. Great roll for him, double fours, and now that's just give me a really tough game to play. I've danced, and now he's bringing his checkers down. I've really got to avoid dancing if I'm going to have any chance of winning this match. And another dance. Last I come in, I'm not going to slot that because it's too open to attack. So I'm playing a 3 point holding game. He's just rolled double sixes. That's going to be very difficult to play against. So I've just got to try and develop my board on the very small chance. I'm way behind in the race, over 100 pips, about 100 pips behind. Just on the very small chance that he's going to leave me a shot. Now, he should have used this opportunity to slot that 4 point. Well, I have got an undeveloped board because he doesn't really want that gap on the 4 point, but he plays this ugly play, leaving an odd number of checkers at the back. Now, my 5-4 is pretty much okay. I'm just getting checkers into position to try and build a home board. I could have maybe slotted my 4 point, but very little in it, and certainly nothing to go crying to XG about. And now I develop my home board. I make the 4 point here. XG prefers me. I'm stacking the heavy 6 point and making the 3 point, but it's again very little in it. You know, if I'm going to lose this game, it's not because the way I've developed my home board. It's because I just don't get the shot. 6-2 plays very nicely for him. And the 5-4 again. So here I've got to unstack the heavy point. At last I recognise that. And I end up playing 17-12 because I think it brings all my checkers in play, but XG likes slotting the 3 point as well. But it's marginal. Again, he can play safe, clear. So I'm really in trouble here. I've got such a job to try and get the shot. I play this play 5-4. Of course, with the previous 5-1 that I played, I should have, with this 5-1, I should split the back, and I don't. And as I should have done with the previous one as well, I should have split the two checkers at the back, because if he rolls one of his bad rolls, it means I get 2 shots on it, but I failed to do that. But I have got the shot now, and any 2 will see me back in this match. The 2 fails to come, and all he needs to do is avoid double 1s and double 2s, and he wins the match. And he wins. Well, I'd like to say that was an enjoyable match. It wasn't an enjoyable match. I found the gamesmanship really unpleasant, and I'm not alone in thinking this. I've spoken to several other players about it, and people don't enjoy playing him. I hope somebody can have a word with him. And I can't complain about the result too much. I made too many bad moves, too many bad plays, bad cubing decisions that impacted the eventual scoreline, and I can't complain too much about his lucky double six at the end. There were many more issues that impacted the result rather than just that. So thanks for listening. Arrivederci, and hopefully see some of you in Turin. Thank you.